Sounds recording.
This is my new invention. The pocket shelf.
Make sure you patent it.
I will. Our original plan was to machine the entire computer case out of a solid block of aluminum.
This was the original plan, I guess, but it turned out that the CNC mill that we have access to isn't big enough to make this. But the idea was the motherboard and graphics card would be in here, and you'd fill it up with the fluid in here, and then the vapors would go into these holes that were drilled all the way through. They would be capped off at the end. And I thought it was a pretty cool idea because you can just make it in one machine and there aren't very many parts to it, but it's too big, so we had to go back to the drawing board.
When we were trying to come up with ways to reduce the size of the overall computer case, Kai realized that he had this old receiver, which weighs about 1,000 pounds, and it has two massive heat sinks inside of it.
Yeah, we redesigned the case to use just welded aluminum plate that kind of matches up with this so we could use this.
We noticed that if we created a tunnel using this heatsink cut in half, because it has these staggered fins, it would create some neat negative space, and then we would be able to blow air through it using some pretty light up fans. So basically we're going to weld together two boxes. The lower one's going to be the fluid containment box, which is going to be made out of 1/2-inch aluminum. It's going to have plexiglass on both sides so that you can see the fluid boiling on the processors and evaporating up into the upper box, which is going to be the heat sink housing and the condensation space. There will be holes drilled down through both boxes so that the vapor can get up into the upper space, condense, and fall back down into the lower space. The heat sinks are only so long, so this will leave us space on the top for the bulkhead connector and to run all of our wires through. And then down in the fluid containment area, we're going to build some kind of fluid displacement structure so we don't have to use more than 1 gallon of this stuff. So we got these things out. We brought them over here to cut this one in half. And we brought this one out here.
Yeah, we brought this one out. We're not going to use it in the project, but we need it to just kind of practice welding since neither of us actually know what we're doing.
Yep, and they both have a bunch of holes that were drilled in the back of them to screw that entire thing together. So we have to seal all of those up. And then once we have this cut in half, we'll match up the fins and measure out what the actual size of everything is going to be, and then we'll order all of our materials and put the actual case together.
That obliterated the metal.
Too hot. Turn it back down. Yeah, because we had. Do you still have it set for 1/4 inch?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that explains a lot. So that's a pretty successful right angle. It's not the best weld in the world, but...
It might even qualify as the worst weld in the world.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? So, Kai's worry is that our garbage welds are going to be too porous to contain the fluid, but we'll get better at this.
Yeah.
Tune in next time when we put the rest of it together.